Have you ever wondered what would happen if a millionaire suddenly lost everything? Would the love of your life stay by your side or flee at the first opportunity? Today we are going to uncover a surprising and emotional story. In this video, a young millionaire decides to test his fiancée's loyalty in an extreme way, by pretending he lost all his fortune. From luxury cars to stunning mansions, everything disappears in the blink of an eye. Her reaction will leave you speechless. Get ready to witness a journey full of twists, emotions, and unexpected revelations. Will true love prevail, or does money speak louder? Stay with us and discover the outcome of this fascinating story. And before we start, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, activate notifications, and leave your like. It helps us bring more content like this to you. John lived a dream life in Beverly Hills, where each day seemed like a modern fairy tale. He resided in an impressive mansion on Mulholland Drive, with a panoramic view of Los Angeles. His garage housed a collection of luxury cars, including a Lamborghini Aventador and a Rolls-Royce Phantom. John loved hosting extravagant parties, where guests could enjoy cocktails by his infinity pool, illuminated by colorful lights reflecting in the California night sky. His social life was busy and glamorous. He and his fiancée, Emily, were constant presences at the most exclusive events in the city, from movie premieres in Hollywood to gala dinners at the Beverly Hilton. Emily, with her stunning beauty and designer dresses, was always the center of attention. Together, they were part of the inner circle of celebrities and tech moguls, frequently dining at Nobu Malibu, where the ocean view and exotic dishes complemented the aura of sophistication that surrounded them. However, even with all the glamour, small signs began to emerge that Emily valued material aspects more than John liked to admit. She often made a point of posting photos of her new Hermes bags and luxurious dinners on Instagram, always emphasizing how much she loved the gifts John gave her. John noticed that Emily seemed much more excited on shopping days on Rodeo Drive than on simple walks in Griffith Park, where he liked to relax and appreciate nature. Emily's friends also showed a clear preference for activities that involved spending money. They organized expensive brunches at the Ivy and shopping trips to Las Vegas, always expecting John to cover the expenses. When John suggested simpler activities, like a quiet weekend in Napa Valley to taste wine and relax, Emily and her friends seemed uninterested, always seeking something more exciting and ostentatious. Despite these signs, John remained blinded by the love he felt for Emily. He believed that his love and dedication were enough to keep the relationship strong. John's closest friends, like his college buddy Mike and his sister Sarah, warned him about Emily's behavior, but he always defended his fiancée, attributing her actions to her passion for fashion and lifestyle. In truth, John often felt guilty for thinking that Emily might be a gold digger. He convinced himself that his suspicions were unfounded, a result of personal insecurities. He strove to satisfy all of Emily's desires, believing that this would strengthen the relationship. John's loyalty to Emily was unwavering, and he was willing to ignore any doubts that arose, focusing only on the happy moments they shared. Every international trip they took together was an attempt by John to prove his love. From romantic dinners at the Eiffel Tower in Paris to exotic adventures in Bora Bora, John endeavored to create unforgettable memories for them. However, increasingly, these moments of happiness were marked by financial cost rather than sentimental value. John began to subtly realize that the sparkle in Emily's eyes appeared more at the sight of a new Tiffany jewel than while enjoying a romantic walk along the Champs-Élysées. The first sign that something was wrong came when John received an urgent call from his financial advisor. He was in his luxurious office in downtown Los Angeles, overlooking the bustling Wilshire Boulevard, when the news hit him like a blow. Investments that were once considered safe began to plummet due to an unexpected global economic crisis. John spent hours in frantic meetings, trying to understand the extent of the problem and seeking solutions to minimize losses. However, with each new update, the situation seemed to worsen. John watched his financial empire crumble like a house of cards. His companies began to face severe difficulties, from losing important clients to breaking valuable contracts. The stocks of his companies plummeted on the New York Stock Exchange, causing panic among shareholders and investors. Uncertainty gripped his businesses, and he was forced to lay off loyal employees who had worked with him for years, a decision that devastated him deeply. During this tumultuous period, John tried to remain calm at home, but the stress began to visibly affect him. He spent sleepless nights reviewing numbers and financial reports, trying to find a way out. Emily, however, did not show the understanding and support that John had hoped for. She began to distance herself, spending more time away from home, and her questions about John's financial situation became increasingly probing and cold. One of the hardest moments for John was when he had to sell the mansion in Beverly Hills. The house, which was a symbol of his success, was put on the market. John remembered all the memories he had created there, from grand parties to quiet nights with Emily. Selling the mansion was a harsh blow, and he found himself moving to a much more modest apartment in West Hollywood. The transition was painful and humiliating for John, who had always prided himself on providing the best for himself and his fiancée. John's financial situation continued to deteriorate. He had to sell many of his luxury items, including his sports cars and his art collection. Each sale was a bitter reminder of the reality he now faced. Bills piled up, and John began to struggle to maintain a minimally comfortable lifestyle. He found himself resorting to loans and using his personal savings to try to maintain appearances and survive the financial chaos. Emily, on the other hand, began to show her true character. She constantly complained about the changes and the new lifestyle. Her comments became increasingly critical and sarcastic. John noticed that her patience was quickly running out, and arguments became frequent. She complained about the new residence, the lack of luxury, and the financial limitations they now faced. Emily's lack of understanding and solidarity was evident, and John felt increasingly alone in his battle. The final straw came when John had to admit to Emily that he was on the brink of complete bankruptcy. They were having dinner in a simple restaurant, very different from the expensive places they used to frequent. John explained the situation with a voice choked with emotion, hoping for some form of empathy or support. However, Emily responded coldly, accusing him of mismanagement and irresponsibility. She made it clear that she was not willing to give up the lifestyle she had become accustomed to. John realized at that moment that Emily was not by his side for the right reasons. The pain of emotional betrayal was even greater than the financial loss. He understood that, for her, love and loyalty were conditioned to luxury and wealth. This painful revelation marked the beginning of a new phase in his life, where he would have to reassess his priorities and find the strength to start over alone. John was in his modest apartment in West Hollywood on a cold, silent night. The city that never sleeps seemed indifferent to his growing anguish. He knew he needed to have a definitive conversation with Emily, although every fiber of his being wanted to delay the inevitable. He invited her for a home-cooked dinner, something simple but prepared with care. There was a weight in the air, a palpable tension that both felt but did not comment on. When Emily arrived, her critical look at the small apartment, devoid of the previous luxuries, did not go unnoticed by John. He felt vulnerable, exposed in his new reality. During dinner, John finally mustered the courage to reveal the whole truth about his financial situation. With a trembling voice, he detailed the losses, debts, and difficult decisions he had to make. Emily listened in silence, her eyes fixed on her plate. When John finished speaking, Emily stood up and walked to the window, looking at the illuminated city below. The silence between them was deafening. Finally she turned, and the words that came out of her mouth cut John like a blade. She said she couldn't continue living that way, that the future she envisioned with him didn't include struggling against financial difficulties. For Emily, love seemed directly proportional to wealth and comfort. Emily began packing the next day, and the reality of her departure became painfully concrete for John. He watched, helpless, as she packed expensive clothes and accessories, all bought during the days of abundance. John made one last attempt, pleading for understanding and patience, promising that he would find a way back to stability. But Emily remained impassive, her responses cold and calculated. For her, the decision was made, and there was no turning back. On the morning Emily finally left the apartment, John felt a mix of pain and relief. He watched from the hallway as she called a taxi and loaded her bags outside. The sound of the door closing behind her echoed through the empty room, symbolizing the end of an era in his life. John stood there for a moment, processing the loss and trying to understand how everything had fallen apart so quickly. The weeks that followed were extremely difficult for John. He struggled to cope with the loneliness and sense of betrayal. Every corner of the apartment reminded him of Emily and the dreams they had shared, now shattered. Friends and family tried to console him, but the words of comfort felt hollow. John needed to find a new purpose for his life, a reason to move forward. The shock of abandonment forced John to reassess his choices and priorities. He began to realize that by focusing so much on maintaining an image of success and prosperity, he had lost sight of what truly mattered. The lessons were bitter but necessary. John began to value more the genuine relationships and true support from friends and family who stayed by his side, not for what he owned, but for who he was. The pain of losing Emily eventually gave way to a renewed determination. John knew he needed to rebuild his life, not just financially, but emotionally and spiritually. He started investing in smaller, safer projects, and returned to studying topics that had always interested him but that he had set aside in pursuit of quick profits. John also reconnected with old friends, people who had always been there, ready to offer support and camaraderie. This new phase of John's life was not easy, but each small progress gave him the strength to continue. He knew the path to recovery would be long, but for the first time in a long while, he felt hopeful. He learned that the true value of a person does not lie in material possessions but in the genuine connections we form and the experiences we share. John's recovery did not happen overnight, but with perseverance and hard work, he began to rebuild his life. He decided to bet on an emerging sector: green technology. After months of research and networking, John founded a startup focused on sustainable solutions for renewable energy. The company, called EcoFuture, soon attracted the attention of investors who believed in its innovative potential. The first contracts brought new hope. EcoFuture started gaining traction in the market, and John, for the first time in a long time, felt he was on the right path. He assembled a talented and committed team, and together, they worked tirelessly to transform the company into a success. The financial return was gradual but steady, and in no time, EcoFuture became a reference in the sustainable energy sector. During this period of ascension, John met Rachel, a young environmental engineer who shared his passion for sustainability. They met at a green technology conference in San Francisco and quickly realized they had a lot in common. Unlike Emily, Rachel was not interested in status or wealth. She fell in love with John for his vision, determination, and the man he was, regardless of his financial situation. As EcoFuture thrived, John and Rachel developed a solid relationship based on shared values and interests. Rachel stood by John during difficult times, offering unconditional support and helping the company grow with her innovative ideas. Rachel's presence brought a new light to John's life, and he finally felt he had found someone who genuinely loved him. With EcoFuture's success, John regained his fortune, but this time he was determined to keep his feet on the ground. He learned to value what truly mattered: true friendships, sincere love, and a meaningful purpose. The mansion in Beverly Hills was replaced by a more modest but welcoming house, where he and Rachel built a home filled with affection and mutual respect. Then Emily reappeared in his life. She contacted him after seeing reports about EcoFuture's success and John's resurgence as a successful entrepreneur. Emily tried to reconnect, claiming regret and saying she still loved him. She asked for a chance to start over, stating she was willing to change and adapt to John's new reality. John, however, was not fooled. The wounds of the past were still present, and he knew that Emily's love was conditioned on his financial situation. He received her politely in his office, now located in a modern sustainable building in Santa Monica. During the conversation, John was firm but gentle, explaining that there was no more room for her in his life. He told her how Rachel had helped him rebuild and the importance of being with someone who truly loved him. Emily was disappointed, but John felt no remorse. He was finally at peace with himself and his choices. He realized that true happiness was not tied to material possessions or social recognition, but to sincere relationships and personal fulfillment. John bid Emily farewell, thanking her for the good times, but making it clear that his future was now with Rachel. As he left the office, John felt a sense of relief and satisfaction. He looked out the window, watching the bustling Santa Monica Boulevard, and reflected on his journey. The lessons he had learned over the years had shaped him into a wiser and stronger man. He knew that with Rachel by his side and a mission that truly mattered, he was ready for any challenge the future might bring. Months had passed since John's last encounter with Emily, and life was thriving alongside Rachel. EcoFuture was in full growth, conquering new markets and forming international partnerships. John had become a reference in sustainability and innovation, participating in conferences and lectures worldwide. More than ever, he felt that his life had a true purpose, focused on making a difference. John and Rachel bought a cozy house in Malibu, with a stunning view of the Pacific Ocean. Unlike the opulent mansion in Beverly Hills, this house was simple but full of love and meaning. They cultivated an organic garden, spending hours together planting and harvesting fresh vegetables. Each moment shared further strengthened their bond. The story of John and Rachel spread, and many admired John's resilience and determination to rebuild his life. Friends and family saw in the couple an example of true partnership and mutual support. At social events, Rachel was always mentioned as the silent force behind John's success, and he did not hesitate to acknowledge this publicly. Emily, on the other hand, had moved to New York, trying to restart her life. She avoided following news about John, but occasionally, something would come up on her social media. Each success of John and Rachel was a bitter reminder of what she had lost. In moments of reflection, Emily wondered if she would ever find someone who loved her the way John had. John and Rachel's routine was marked by hard work, but also moments of leisure and relaxation. They loved walking along the beach at sunset, discussing dreams and plans for the future. Rachel continued to be a key player in EcoFuture, bringing innovative ideas and helping the company stay at the forefront of green technology. Together, they were determined to create a lasting legacy focused on sustainability and social responsibility. John felt fulfilled not only by financial success but by the wealth of experiences and authentic relationships he had cultivated. He participated in community projects and educational initiatives, spreading the message of the importance of sustainability to young people in schools and universities. Each interaction was an opportunity to inspire and motivate the next generation to take care of the planet. At a charity event in Los Angeles, John was honored for his contributions to sustainability and innovation. During his speech, he talked about his journey of highs and lows, highlighting the lessons learned and the importance of staying true to one's values. John made sure to thank Rachel for her unconditional support and true love, moving the audience with his sincerity and gratitude. The evening culminated in a special moment. John proposed to Rachel in front of everyone present, declaring his love and eternal commitment. Rachel accepted, and the celebration that followed was a tribute to the strength of genuine love and the ability to start over. Their story became a symbol of hope and resilience, showing that with dedication and true support, it is possible to overcome any adversity. The following years were marked by personal and professional growth. John and Rachel continued to expand EcoFuture, always seeking new ways to contribute to a more sustainable world. They traveled together, exploring new cultures and learning more about the diverse forms of life around the world. Each adventure further strengthened their bond and fueled their passion for making a difference. In retrospect, John knew the journey had been difficult, but each challenge overcome had made him the person he was today. He was grateful for the highs and lows, for they had led him to find Rachel and true happiness. With a life full of love, purpose, and achievements, John was finally at peace with himself and the world around him.